So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on soldering a CXA 2075 to this little project board I got. So we're just going to jump right in. What exactly am I making? That's a great question, Trekintosh. So here is two different RGB encoders. This is the RGB encoder used in the Model 1 Sega Genesis. It's a Sony chip. And later on, they this was used in a lot of game consoles. Most famously the Model 1 Sega Genesis, or what do they call it in the UK? The Mega Drive? Yeah, Mega Drive. Oh. Excuse me, I got the yawns all of a sudden. This CXA 2075 is also an RGB encoder chip made by Sony, but it was used in home computers. It's an upgraded version of the CXA 1145 in that it fixes a couple of the problems with the way this RGB encoder worked. And supposedly it solves a problem of jail bars in the Sega Genesis. So this encoder has some crosstalk between the component and the component sync. It like there's some kind of something that messes up on the inside of, I think it's in the I want to say it's the Y trap or something that messes something up, that causes the RGB out signal to have these like vertical bars, and supposedly the 2075 fixes that. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a circuit using a 2075. We're going to wire it directly to a Sega Genesis video chip, so it's not going across the motherboard. Which, fun fact, there's a mod called the Triple Bypass, which was made in response to some of the motherboard layout design issues with the Model 1 Sega Genesis that also caused crosstalk in the video signal. Because like the encoder chip's like way over here and the video chip's over here, and so all these lines got to go across the whole motherboard to get to the encoder, and then come back to go out to the I/O ports on the back. So my goal is to try to make my own kind of version of the triple bypass, but instead of using newer parts, I want to use these older, more era-appropriate CXA 2075 chips, just because I think it'd be a fun project. And if it works and I get the little circuit boards printed and it turns out to be an easy mod to do at home, I might try selling them to fund my 2.0 model. We'll see. That's all down the line. But I think our first order of business is I'm going to tin up these pads here on our little board. Let's see, what's pin 1? Pin 1's up here. Let's get our soldering iron nice and hot. And while it's heating up, I'll go ahead and get some flux. Just spread that out onto here. I'm glad you find this exciting. And yeah, if you get a Sega Genesis, there's a kind of a debate over which ones are better. So the Model 1s have, in my opinion, a better sound chip, but the sound chip has a bug in it that causes it to have some distortion in certain frequency ranges. But game designers compensated for that by changing their volume mixing. So if you play some older Genesis games on like a Model 2 or 3 Genesis, you end up having like weird peaking in certain bandwidths, in certain audio frequencies. But the Model 2 Genesis has a more up-to-date sound chip that doesn't have that problem. And so if you end up playing a game that was designed with that sound chip in mind on the Model 1, you end up getting some weird like dropout of certain frequencies because they're not loud enough and they get muddied. Oh yeah, absolutely, Trekintosh, I agree. It's always interesting to me. And then the Model 3 is just bad. The Model 3 just doesn't have very good performance just in general. But I think, in my opinion, I think the Model 1 has the better audio chip. Just I think it sounds better just in general, even though it does have that issue with certain frequency ranges. The Model 1 definitely has the better video chip because some Model 2s and all the Model 3s have have a Samsung knockoff encoder that's like literally the same design as this CXA 1145, but it's a cheap knockoff that doesn't have the RGB output. It doesn't have the chroma and like the video output. It only does composite output, if I remember correctly. So if you get a Model 2 or 3, you're almost assuredly gonna need to change out the video encoder. So let's turn on our fume evacuator. Just pin up these pads. Our iron. We want to do this so that there's plenty of solder on here when we go to use the hot air gun to put on the encoder chip. It looks good. Tin our tip to make sure it stays nice and oxidization free. Put that away for now. Get one of our chips here, which this one's been, when I cut the, they kind of nicked the edge of this one, but looks like the chip's not impacted, so that's good. Yeah, the Model 2 or the Model 3s are just, they were super budget cost cutting units, which, I mean, in Sega's defense, I mean, most TVs only did composite back then. I mean, a ton of people were just using RF adapters for their consoles. So, I mean, I can't really blame Sega for cutting features no one was using to cut costs and increase their profit margins, especially late in the console's life cycle. It just makes good sense, you know? Like, they didn't do anything wrong, but for us here in the future, it does cause a bit of an issue. Alright, so let's get our hot air. Make sure our chip's centered. And what should happen is we'll heat up around the chip, and then the solder should melt, and then when it melts, the chip should shimmy into place as the solder pulls the pins to it, because the solder is going to want to stick to the pad, but it's also going to want to stick to the pin, so it's going to make a little tension and it should move into place, especially because we have still lots of flux in there to help guide things and make sure all that melted metal flows really well. So just gonna do this. Squeezer's ready in case I need to move it at all by hand. This tip might be too big for this. But let's see. Hot. It's on a little crooked, but it looks like it's on solid. And we'll just check all the pins. Whew. Let that cool down a little bit. I should be able to just push on all these pins and see if any of them are loose, but everything looks really well connected. All right, solid. All right. Yeah, it does bother me that it's slightly crooked, but as long as everything's connected, I'm gonna try to ignore it. Oh, I ordered new brushes. Our toothbrush that we use for our Game Boy has gotten a bit overly used. The bristles are basically stuck with all the cleaning gunk we've cleaned off of consoles. So I went ahead and got some brushes to use instead. Got like a whole pack of them. Oh, I also bought so I have been using this 99%. I actually got a whole like quart of 99.9%. I don't actually have it up here in my work area. I need to go get it, bring it up here. So we'll just take this isopropyl alcohol and our new brush. We'll just scrub off all this gunk, plus excess flux. And we should be good. To clean my work pad here. Seen better days. Gotten a lot of use out of it, so it's gotten pretty dirty. Alright, so now that we have our chip connected and all the pins ready to go, next step is connect it to our breadboard. And if you've never used a breadboard before, basically the way it works is each of these rows are all connected. Like there's a metal strip that connects all the rows across this way, and the rows on the either side this way. and they're marked with positive and negative. So you connect your grounds and your voltages here, and then you connect your components to each other across the connections. And so this is a really good way to do some prototyping and proof of concept for whatever kind of circuit you're trying to put together. All right. And so now, when we want to interact with these pins, we can just connect wires or components into these two holes on either side of each pin, and then spread them out. Like we connect from here to here, and then there to there, whatever we need to do. So, pin number 1. Let's look at our layout here. Zoom in a bit for this next part. Oh, I zoomed in way too much. Ah. So I think the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we connect our pin 17, the Y trap here. Because we're NTSC, we need to do a 3.2K from here to our voltage. So we need to go from to VCC1 to our Y trap. So pins 17 and 12 need to be connected with a resistor, which I think I've got plenty of those. Let's see. Yeah, here's a 3.3. Should do. It's back in my box. And let's see, where's our pin 17? So we just find pin 17, which is right here. Just stick that in there. And our pin 12, stick that in there. And that's how that's done. Now let's see. RGB out. So we're gonna need to take this guy, and we're gonna end up soldering some wires to here to connect into here. So we'll do that later. Let's see, RGB in, same thing. We're gonna need some wires that will be slotting into here and then soldering to the actual Genesis itself. Let's see, sync in, same thing with that. Basically, we're gonna be connecting most of these pins to the Sega Genesis that are on this side. And then on this side, we're going to connect mostly to our, let's see, this is our Luma out, our Chroma outs for S-Video. So we're not going to use those because we're not connecting S-Video right now. We're going to need R out, G out, B out, composite out. We're going to need to find VCC2, VCC1, our sync. I forget what XON is. And then, of course, our RGBs in and out and ground. So, really, that's all we have to do with the breadboard right now. Our next thing is we actually have to work on the console itself. So let me grab that Sega Genesis. What did I do with that Sega Genesis, chat? I just had it in my hand a moment ago and it vanished. Like it fell into a black hole the second I called for it. Well, let me get my toolkit at least. Here's my toolkit. Did I bring the power cord and the SCART cable up here and then leave the actual console downstairs? Let me go check, chat. 1 second. Yep, that's what happened. I absolutely left it downstairs. There we go. So, this is my spare Model 2. We haven't modded this one at all yet. Let's get inside and see what it has for us. All right, number 2, Phillips. Let's get cracking. Can you not hear me? Wait. Oh, you can hear me. Oh, the music was crackly. Oh, weird. Is it fixed now, or is it still crackly? How was my big sleep? It was great. Guys, bro, I slept quite well after the stream. I just abandoned everything. Everything was right where it was when I woke up the next day. I just walked away from the stream and fell asleep. Still crackly. Maybe it's this track. Hold on. Oh, the audio quality was set to low. I did not set that setting. Spotify. Let's see if that makes it any better. I changed it to high. Sorry about that. But yeah, welcome in, Slime. Welcome in, Galley Sprout. It's still crackly? Hold on. Whoa, that's weird. Yeah, I can hear it too. It doesn't sound like that in my headphones, but it sounds like that over the stream. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, thank you very much for the heads up on that, Slime. I appreciate it. Glad we got that fixed. I would have been really sad if that had gone the whole stream and been all crackly like that. Alright, so, one thing to know, when you're opening a Model 1, this LED is connected to the board. So don't just go yanking the lid off. Remember, many streams ago I told you, when you're opening these things, you want to be real slow. Because you always want to check for that kind of stuff. Because you get a little too ahead of yourself. You'll yank this out, break the LED, harm something on the board. A lot of things can go wrong. You don't want that. So our next thing, now that we have the lid off, way to get through this RF shield. So just more unscrewing. Nothing too exciting right now. But our goal is we want to get to that video chip and look up what kind of video chip it is, what model, and then see if we can identify Oh yeah, I want to be told about these things too. Exactly. Yeah, exactly like broccoli in your teeth. If I've got broccoli in my teeth, please tell me. I want to get it fixed. I don't want to just have it linger. Speaking of audio, I can't believe we went 3 hours on that 24-hour stream with no audio. I added some music on the VOD, so people who want to watch it on YouTube can and not be too terrible. But I put a disclaimer that there is no game audio. But the game audio comes back in part 2, so. It turned out to be 8 different parts for the 24-hour stream. So I'll be uploading those throughout the week as I get them ready. Let's see. More screws here. Hard to do this blind. Well. Uh-oh. Oh, did that just go into the void? Oh, I found a random bit of copper wire. There we go. Found it. Alright, set this to the side. So, we're looking at this chip right here. This is the one that we're interested in. So this is a 315-5487. So, a 315-5487. Shall we get a closer look? So this is what's doing the work. And it's sending, like I said, these signals. So from here, this is all going over to here, where we've got that CXA 2075, or not even a 2075, 1145. Is that an 1145? Yeah, see, you can see this is an 1145M, which our other one was just a regular 1145. There's that 1145. Yes, it's Saturday. I ate food. I had a hot chicken sandwich. Do not fret. Also, my light's not bright enough. There we go. That should be better. So next thing we need to do is pull up the data sheet for a 315 5487. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull that up and I will print it out. I'll be right back. So 5487. What motherboard is this? Let's see. Can we see the motherboard revision anywhere? There it is. Oh, it's a VA7. Oh, pretty late model. All right, chat, I'm back. And I have what we're looking for. So, these are the pin outs for all the pins. Thanks to Console Wiki, but console spelled with a 5 instead of an S. Wiki.consoles.com. Check them out. Donate. They have a lot of really awesome information that really helps out with this kind of stuff. So we're gonna set this aside. We're gonna identify which pins we need. So we need ground, RGB in. Let's just start with ground and RGB in. Ground should be pretty easy to find. Oh, here's our RGB. C-Sync and V-Sync. Let's see, we're gonna need the C-Sync. I don't know about the V-Sync. Let's see. XO. What is XO? Is XO VSync? Let's see. Those are RGB. C-Sync. What is XON, I wonder? Do anything marked as XO? I don't think so. There's VDD. There's another VDD pin we could use. There's a ground. And the ground. And we can just ground it to the board too. We don't have to actually steal one of these pins. Actually, grounding to the board is probably a little bit better. So this tells us what pins we need to tap into. There's actually one thing I forgot to print. Unless I have it here. No, that's the circuit for... This is part of it, but I need a different page from this. Hold on one second. Here we go. So there's a bit more we need to prepare on the breadboard before we push forward. So if we look at our documentation for the CXA 2075, we actually need a little bit of extra. So we need some 0.1 microfarad capacitors before the RGB in. That should be pretty easy to do. Let's see. SCN, what were we calling that on our other one? What is SCN when they refer to it in this documentation? So that's pin 6 is SCN. That's XO in on this documentation. What does that actually do? Sine pulse, phase shift, pulse generator. This is probably VSync in. Let me double check the description for pin 6 in the documentation. 1 second. Oh, it's subcarrier. I'm silly. This anymore. That's like some garbage. This anymore. Let's see. Where's our subcarrier pin? Disk VDD. It's pin. Let's see. RAM, ground. RAM, video. Is that what they're calling SPAB? In other models, it's just SBC. RAM, ground. H-sync. Sound. Reference. VAS. RES. Time card. Huh. That's really weird. I don't see subcarrier listed on any of these. What? It's gotta be that SPAB, right? Let me consult the internet. Be right back. No, it's an output pin. This is an I/O pin. So there's got to be an O pin for subcarrier. Is time it? Maybe? I'm in a bit of a pickle. Let me continue to check the internet here. What a strange turn of events. I don't expect this one to be a VA7. If it's anything like the Game Gears, the later ones are the most difficult to modify. Let's see, which one are we looking at? This is 5487. Pin 131, supposedly. Hey, Sparky Dinko, welcome in. Can't stay long, but figured you'd pop in to see what you were working on tonight? Yeah. Wait. Pin 131. Am I missing a page? Page 1 of 1. Wait, how could it be page 131 if there's only 108 pins? What in the world? Is my documentation incomplete? Is that why I can't find the subcarrier pin? Okay, let me go check my documentation. Oh, sigh, Chad. I'm a big silly Billy. That was a whole nother page. It's 208, not 108 pins. And let me guess. 131, subcarrier right there. Alright, so we need to get... That's our XO. That's RGB, C-Sync. But yeah, we're working on building a breadboard with a CXA 2075 on it that we can try to get rid of those jail bars that we had to make a really nice clean picture for our Sega Genesis when we play it. No, Jelly, why? I'm over here trying to twirl my pen and you're dropping all the emotes on me. Oh, I sure need a coffee. I'm still behind on sleep. Bah. Welcome in, Jelly. How are you this evening? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much, by the way, for all coming out and doing all the cool stuff during the anniversary stream. I cannot be grateful enough. That was a lot of fun. I hope everyone had as much fun as I did. Except for when I had the spicy ramen. That, y'all, I hope y'all experienced that. Let's see. right, so we've got black, red, green, blue, white, yellow. We'll probably use C-Sync, subcarrier, RGB, and we'll use this for power, and probably use red for power and then black for ground. The 24 hours is still in my system, yeah. This Spicy Noodles was the best part. Don't say that. I mean, it was pretty fun. Now that I'm far removed from the experience. Oh, actually, you know what? Instead of using these super thick wires, I have a better idea. Well, these aren't super thick. They're 28 gauge. They're probably a little too thick for what I want to do. I got 30 gauge as well, but I got these, which if we take 3 of them, it's gonna be our RGB wires at least. Oh yeah, the fancy strippers. Have you not been to a repair stream before? Yeah, these are a great tool. They really make things a lot easier when it comes to getting wires prepped for soldering. All right, so we've identified our what we're gonna need to do for our pins. Let's see, we'll have one side that's RGB in. Now, what did I say we needed in that circuit? We needed 0.1 microfarad for now let's see. So we needed 0.1 microfarad here. Here's our pin with our 3.2 kilohertz or kilohertz 3.32k resistor to tell it to use the internal trap. Let's see. For voltage, we need a 0.01 microfarad and a 47 microfarad, both to ground. Okay, let's start working on this stuff. All right, so that was 0.01 and 47. Let me see if I've got, what would a 0.01 be? There's a full 1. It's too much. .47. What are these little guys? There's a 0.1. I think we have, yeah, we need 3 of these for our RGB lines. So those will be for our RGB lines. These outputs here, we don't have to do anything because those should be inside the cable we're using. We're not connecting S video, so we can ignore that. Yeah, I just need a 0.1 microfarad capacitor. And then these guys. And a 47. Let me get 47. About 0.47. I need a 47. Oh, wow. First drawer I pulled. 25 volts. 47 microfarad. So that's half of this piece of the circuit. I need to get that 1.1. I mean, I've got ceramic capacitors that could probably do that. Yeah, let me look. Got these little ceramic guys. Oh yeah, there's a 0.1. I mean, that actually is probably... Is that unpolarized? Oh, it is unpolarized. Oh, well, yeah, we need to use one of these anyways. So, these little guys, these aren't polarized, so energy can flow any direction through them. So, here, let's zoom in so you can see this. So, in our schematics diagram here, you can see there's two symbols here, and I'll draw them bigger so you can see them better. So, there's this symbol, which is right here, and then there's this symbol. The difference is, this is a capacitor symbol that means non-polarized. So you can connect positive, negative, negative, positive. It doesn't care. This is a polarized capacitor. This right here. And this dot indicates this side is positive and this side is negative. If you hook them up backwards, you get a pop and a capacitor go explodey. Which is not good. We don't want that. Yes, the pre-tums and the Pepto helped a lot with the after effects. I did not, as they say, have to fight round 2 with the spicy noodles. I only got a beat down once. I didn't have to do it twice. All right, so we've got our capacitors. So I think what we'll do, because these are on 12, is we'll go ahead and we'll put this guy here to set over to negative, and then this one. So with capacitors like this, the long stem is your positive. So you see how this one's longer, but also it has this white line which indicates negative. Go ahead and hook this one up here. And actually, I'm going to move this resistor to here. Not that it super matters, but I'll hook this up right next to that one. So Now we have our ceramic capacitor of 0.01 and our 47 microfarad capacitor hooked up here. Let's see. Five volts into pin 7. So we'll probably we'll probably just take another small wire and bridge from here on this pin to pin 7 over here. From there to there, from 12 to 7, just across this one here. Probably need to cut a small piece of wire for that. Let's see, and then these guys, I think we can just, let's see. Oh, these are also non-polarized capacitors. So let me put these back. Because we don't need these guys. Well, these probably would work. I don't want to use them if they're not exactly what we're supposed to be using. Let's see. These are 0.1. Oh, actually, I'm glad I double checked. So this is a 0.01. So this actually is incorrect. This is what we need for our RGB lines. Oh, do I have a 01? 01's teeny tiny. Oh yeah, here we go. We got a 10 picofarad. I think 10 picofarad is 0.01 farad, microfarad. Hmm. 10 PF to UF. Oh, 10 picofarad is 0.00001. Wait, so... Oh, then hold on. What's 0.1? 10 nanofarad. We have a 10 nanofarad. All right. Let's see, the 10 nanofarad is the 103s. Oh yeah, teeny tiny little guys. Yeah, look at that little guy. Look at that little guy. So cute. What I want to know is where the noodles as spicy going in as they were coming out. No, actually, that's what I was saying about round 2. Using a lot of Tums and taking Pepto ahead of time, about, what was it, 15 minutes before. I took them while I was making it. It really helped my stomach not self-detonate later that night. Or today, for that matter. All right, we avoided a possible explosion. It probably wouldn't have exploded, but probably wouldn't have been very, very nice to see that happen. Okay. Here's what I think we'll do with these RGB pins. So that's 2, 3, 4. So I'm thinking, make it a little easier to work with. Let's put these out some. So we'll connect you here. You here. And then this will work. Can we get over the top of this one without touching? Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. So now we can use these lanes for our RGB wires. All right. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's wire up some. Let's wire up some connections. There's a couple pieces of scrap wire from our last project. Well, that's good at least. I did feel kind of bad for you after the sequel of pain, after the squeals of pain while eating those chemical burn noodles. They were chemical burn noodles. Oh my god, it was like way too much capsaicin. Oh, this is the one that had the like fur in it. Like cotton reinforcement. I don't know if I want to use this wire. Let's see, how's the blue one? Is it the same? Yeah, it's the same. But it's kind of thinner too. Yeah, I guess we'll go with the green. Alright, we'll add a little solder on these to give them some strength for sticking into the breadboard. Let this heat up. Bot! Death to the bot! Bot is banned. Ban, bot, ban. Alright, do the same on this one. these up. Put a little touch of solder on them. I always feel bad for whoever these accounts are that the bots are using, because like they're clearly usernames like most of these, so it looks like they're compromised accounts that are being used to advertise bots. Then again, it could just be bots are getting sophisticated enough they can come up with realistic sounding usernames. Now let's see, this was supposed to go to pin 7 and 12, so let's go ahead and do that. And trim you down a little. Seven's right there. And 12. Sharing a hole with this guy, so let's put them both in. And use one to kind of push down the other. Okay, that looks good. That's connected. Okay. Got those in place, got these in place. Yeah, I think that's good. So breadboard's good to go. Now we just need to solder to our Genesis. And we gotta find, so we got pin 131. 44, 35, 36, 37, 42, and 131. All right, let's see if we can find those. This is gonna be fun. These are very tiny pins. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this on screen so you guys can look at it too. So it's this one here. Let's see, 57, 105. So 105, 156. So we're looking for 131. With our subcarrier pin. Oh, let's see. 5, 6. Oh gosh, this is. Oh, there's no like markings or anything. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, Oh, jeez Louise. That is the tiniest little connector. Holy moly. I was really hoping we could get one of these. So there's a bunch of traces. And they're going off, and they all have little test points. And I was hoping we could tap into one of these test points for pin 131. But yikes! It is like really. I think it's under an underneath pin. Let me see here. There's a big ground pin right here. Let me see if I can use that to help orient myself. Oh no, that's a power pin. All right, so that's 136. So this one here is 136. So we can use that to count from. Let's actually switch to the microscope. I think microscope's going to help. Although I won't be able to put the Genesis under the microscope. I'll have to hold it by hand. So that's 36. 37, or no, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, let me see if I can steady this here. So that's 36. That's 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31. So 31 is the first pin after this bank of traces. So it's this one right here. So we got to get a tiny little wire to that. And just that. That won't be hard at all, will it? Will it, chat? Easy breezy. Nothing to it. Am I right? Oh, there's no way that there's no way that could ever go wrong or have any problems whatsoever. Here, I pulled 2 of these wires off, so we're going to use one of these for the subcarrier and one of these for the C-Sync. Alright, let's shorten these up because they're going to be connected to some very tiny connections. Okay. This is going to be quite the challenge. That's going to get both of them. Now the fun part here is going to be trying to solder just this wire to just that one pin without using a microscope. I don't think it's possible. I think it's the wire's thicker than the distance between the two pins. So I can't do it without a microscope, I don't think. Here, I don't want to do this, but let's go ahead and take... We'll go ahead and unbend the wires here on the LED for the Sega Genesis. This off, if it'll let me. I remember white is on, because LEDs are polarized, white is on our right side. White is on the right. Maybe I can get it under the microscope now. Doesn't quite fit. The microscope comes off the stand, then I still need something to hold this side. Yeah, like that's not a lot of reach. I might just have to stick my face down in there as close as possible and or actually, you know what we could do? We could try. Let's see how well we can see things with Matt's magnifying lens. It might be enough. If I can get Matt into position. See one of Matt's arms off. Poor Matt. To get that fixed for you. All right, might be able to do this with the microscope. Or sorry, not microscope. Magnifying glass. Let's see if I can get... Okay, I can definitely get in there. Oops, losing my heat. Feels very old school using a magnifying glass versus a digital microscope, which is what I'm used to using. Can help there's this ferrite bead in the way. A little flux in there. That's too much flux. Too much flux. Oh no, I can't see what I'm doing. Dang it. I think in my attempts to do this, I bridged a couple pins. I didn't want to have to do this, but yeah, more flux. Yeah, let's see if we can't fix that bridge, and then we'll go on to plan B, which is actually lifting the subcarrier pin. So plan B, which my idea for the mod itself would be something where the end user wouldn't have to do this, because I really hate the idea of doing this, but I'm gonna lift the subcarrier pin in the air and then solder to it that way. I think we're gonna have to do that with all the pins, which is part of the triple bypass mod that I don't like. Yeah, let's do it. right, we lifted it. Tweezers. Gently bring it up into the air. These tweezers had to be messed up. Oh. Oh, I knocked some of the other pins a little loose. That's not good either. All right, got the subcarrier pin up. Okay, it's just that pin right next to the subcarrier pin that's a little loose. Let me see if I can tack it back down. See if that did it. Where did the tweezers go? I just had in my hands. There they are. Perfect. All right. All right, let's see. We need those. Let's see. 42, 35, 36, 37. RGB. 5, 6, 7. 42. 35, 36, 37, and 42. There's 53. Five, 6, 7. That's gonna be over here, I think. Yep. All right. Let's see if we can't count. If I put Matt over here. There we go. Now let's see if I can count these. Let's see, so that's pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 20, 1, 2, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five, 6, 7. And then 2 that go under. 9, 10. Okay. So we got these 3 via right here, which is good. We might be able to just plug into those. Let's see, that's 37. 7, 8, 39, 40, 41, 42. Even a pad there we could maybe use. So let's see. Let's count backwards, make sure I didn't miscount. So should be at 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35. Okay, so it looks like we've got RGB, these 3 little vias. RGB. Roy G. Bib. So, these 3 vias here are where we're going to tap into for our RGB. And then we can pop right onto here for our C-Sync. Nice. And so you guys get a closer look. So it's very hard to see. In fact, I'll get the board closer to you so you can see it better. So you see these banks of resistors here? So these 3 vias connect to 35, 36, 37. And so we can do RGB, right? And then our pin 42, which goes to C-Sync, is this via and then to this unpopulated pad, which connects to this capacitor, goes to, what is that, 44? Which is power. Which actually, if we just tap into this side of this capacitor here, or actually no, this side, because this should be 5 volts, I think, coming out of this via. I think. Let's see if that's ground, actually. Hold on. Easy way to find out. Find any of the ground points. Oops, capacitance. Hold on. That's continuity mode. So that's ground. That's not. So I wonder if this via here goes to volt rail. Let's see. 52, 53. Okay. 104, 105. $156, 157. Nope. Oh, 208. The very last one is power too. So, all right, let's see. So let's see if 208, this last pin way over here, which connects to this big thing here. Okay. Let's see if this connects to here. It does. All right, so yeah, that is power right there. So we can tap into our power either here or here. Actually, we might tap in here next to this capacitor. That's a little bit bigger and easier to hit as far as the target goes. All right, so let's start working on our connections. Just look up and I see Galley Sprouts. More flux. Even though it's an older message, it's still like, oh yeah, more flux. I mean, it's still, it's never not the right answer. It's like more eggs. It's just never not the right answer. Ugh. Set up these ends here. These are going to be the ends we're going to solder into those vias. Soldering to those vias. You know, when I got this little helping hands guy that we've nicknamed Matt, I never thought I would ever use the magnifying glass, and here we are. Magnifying glass coming in clutch. Actually being very helpful. Flux. I'm just gonna drop some solder into these vias. Alright. Let's see if we can get these wires into these vias. Since it's going to be easier to attach this way, I'm going to go this direction. Woo. Almost. I touched that iron to my fingertip. Huh, that was fun. I wish I had my heart rate monitor. You guys would have just seen me jump. Like that heart rate just went to 100. All right, RGB is in place. All right, we'll do the same with our C-Sync via. Actually, we're not even going to use the via. We're going to use this little pad here, this unpopulated pad. Give a little solder on it. Let's see. We're going to do C-Sync and what was the other one? Right, the one that we put in the air over here. So let's stretch these out. So they've got plenty of room, so we can stretch one across and put one over here. Now, unfortunately, chat, I've got to go take care of some business. Family matter. It's going to take me about 30 minutes or so, hopefully. So our break's going to be a little extended today. So instead of a 15, we're going to do a 30. I hope everyone's okay with that. I'll get this last wire in place. And then I'll go take that break. A little solder on that pin there. Weirdly enough, going through the magnifying glass, I have a lot less depth perception than I do in the digital the digital microscope, which is weird because it's also not like there's something about the digital microscope that makes it more, you know, visible. Or you know, it's not like it's stereoscopic. But for some reason, the way the magnifying glass bends the light like disorients me a little bit. It's weird. All right, so I'm gonna tape this down with some Kapton tape so that it doesn't pull away and damage that pin. I don't want that to get damaged because we're gonna have to put that back if this doesn't work. So this console doesn't get bricked. Last thing we need is power. I could just use a piece of wire for that. Let's see, where's that? Let's use a piece of this 28 gauge. Use a piece of red. I know I said that I was going to do one more wire and then go. I just want to get all the wires prepped, so when we come back, we can worry about connecting them to the board. And we won't have to worry about, you know, fussing about with connecting to the breadboard, so we don't have to worry about fussing about with the console itself. Once we get back, we get this the same length, right? All right, where was that? I need the magnifying glass for this part. Oh, chat, it looks like maybe I don't have to go for 30 minutes. Might just be able to do our normal 15 break. Looks like the situation might be handled, so yay! One, yay that we get to need less break time, and double yay because now the situation's handled, so. Nothing serious, by the way, just something minor that came up just now, but looks like it's taken care of, so I think we're good. I'm gonna put a little bit of solder here on this via behind this capacitor. You don't see what I'm working on? Yeah, you can. All right, there we go. Now we've got our power line. And we'll run a ground, just, I don't know, any of these little ground plugs. Like, there's just grounds everywhere, so. I'll get a ground cable here in a second. But for now, thank you for tuning in so far. We're going to take a break. Please go ahead and get yourself a snack, use the bathroom, get some water. I need to fill up my water jug. I actually didn't bring it up here. It's still downstairs. Text a friend, catch up on your Discord messages, cuddle a pet, do what you need to do. And we'll be back in 15 minutes. So thanks for coming in, and don't go anywhere. We'll have more, we'll get to the fun stuff when we get back, because we'll be wiring up the breadboard and then testing stuff. So yeah, that'll be cool. So hopefully we'll be able to see this in action. See you in 15. Toodaloo. Hey chat, welcome back. I hope you had a good break. I'm eating chocolate mushrooms. They're delicious. I just had a thought while we were on break. I don't know when we looked inside that cable if the it had the right setup for the composite output. You might be asking, you know, why do we need the composite output? I thought we were using RGB, and I believe, if I remember correctly, the Sega the actual sync output of this chip, sorry, that goes to the encoder. I think the oh no, chocolate's melting all in my hands. I want to get melted chocolate on our Sega Genesis. Where was I? I think the sync signal actually uses the composite output for the sync signal, because when I've done these mods before, if I didn't connect the sync or the composite, nothing would work. And so I think we need to double check that the cable has the proper circuitry. Actually, I can tell you it doesn't. Thinking back. Yeah, I don't think our our cable has it. So I think we also need to add to the breadboard the circuitry for the composite output circuit, which is just two resistors and a capacitor. It should be pretty easy. We'll just have to find the right ones. Make sure we get them in there on the breadboard. And then really it's just a matter of wiring everything up. And then seeing if it works. Oh, while we're on break, I went ahead and connected a wire to our ground. All right. Chocolate mushrooms aside for a moment. Now let's look at our schematics here. Our circuit diagram. Let's see, we need a 43 resistance resistor, 240 resistance resistor, and a 220 microfarad capacitor, polarized, with positive going towards the circuit and negative going out to the console. Let's see if we can find those, shall we? Oh, we got a new follower while we were on break. Oh no. Shinshiro Naomi, thank you for the follow. Welcome into the collective. Sorry I didn't call you out earlier. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Sorry. I lost track of myself there for a second. Let's get, let's see. We have a bunch of resistors here. Let's see. We need a 43 and a 240. Let's see. Here's a 43. All right. Put that right there. And then let's see, do we have a 240? 200, 220, 240. There we go. All right, I'll just stash these away. And we'll bring out our breadboard again. And so this is on pin 19. So we just look at pin 19 right here. And it looks like it's getting 5 volts. No, I'm sorry, that's not pin 19. I apologize. Yeah, pin 19's voltage input, which actually looks like we have to do the same thing here that we did over here with a 47 and a 0.01. So we'll work on that in a second, but we just have to copy this setup over here on 19. What we really want is 20, and so 43 goes across. So we'll just do 43 out somewhere else. So here's the 43. So we go from number 20, which is this right here. And we'll just plug that in right here. Let's get it out over here. And then that 240 goes back to ground. And so our ground rail's over here. So we'll just plop that in here. And off to our ground over there. Nice. Easy. And then we need that 220 microfarad capacitor. So let's find us a 220 in my stack of capacitors. What are you? 10. 47. Oh, actually, we need a 47. Is that the same one as that? Hold on. Oh, to the floor. Heckgummit. Keep dropping things, Chad. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's 25 volts 47. That's why it's smaller. That was a 50 47. Where did it go? Huh, I found 2 feet for some random device under there. But yeah, this is a 50 volt. It's actually a little bit too big. I mean, it'll work, but we don't need to use a 50. I mean, 25's already overkill enough. Ah, here's the 25, so pull that out while we are in here, because we're going to need that for that other circuit. Let's see, 470, 25, 220. Here we go. 25, 220. And so, are you the 220? Yes. So positive to there. And the negative can go there. And we'll connect our output wire like right there. Here, let's put all these wires into one place so they're a bit more secure. All right. We need that 47 and 01. And let's see. Let's just make a separate. I'll just run a wire from here to here to do the ground to just move these planes over here so we can have access to it on this side of the breadboard. So I'll just mimic the same setup we have over here for pin 20, which, sorry, 19. So we got pin 19 right here. We did our negative terminal out to the negative. So just like that. And then our, let's see, what was that? You were 103. We'll have another one of those 103s. Let's see, 103. That 10 nanofarad. You always want to look and make sure they match, because sometimes those sets of resistors don't, and capacitors, especially that come in the boxes like that, sometimes they're supposed to be sorted correctly, but you never want to make assumptions. You always want to just double check them, you know, when you use them. All right. So that should be good. Components on the breadboard. The capacitors and resistors for the RGB are in the cable, so I don't have to worry about those. So let's go ahead and start connecting things. So on our chip here, it was RGB 35, 36, 37. So this is RGB. So RGB. And on our CXA, it's RGB. So I'm gonna go RGB. So R G and B. Actually, what probably would be better RGB, that. Then we can use our components in the same hole to kind of help hold things down. Move this one to there to make that a little easier. All right, those are in there pretty good. So that's our RGB input. Of course, we've got our power. Just goes in here. So that's not staying in very well. How can I get that in there better? Let's see. What kind of goodies do I have in here that I can use to help with this? I don't look like anything here is going to help. Oh, I spoke too soon. Actually, I might not even need these. Let's hold off on that for a second. I actually think I have some wires that might help. Yeah, here we go. Bag full of wires for using on breadboards. There's another. All right. Just use these. And here's what we'll do. We'll take our positive and put that in with it, and we'll move that over to there. So both of those are positive. And we'll take our ground, and we'll do the same. Put it in here with this one. We're holding each other in there. And then that can go there. All right, cool. All right, that handles those. And we've got our C-Sync. And then our the XO line. What do we call that? The shucks. Subcarrier or subcarrier. Our subcarrier is going to go for pin 6. That's this one here. Right there. And then our C-Sync is pin 10. All right, that should be all of our inputs wired up, ready to go on the breadboard. A little janky, but you know, again, this is just prototyping. This is definitely far removed from what an actual mod would look like. Now we need to do our outputs. And also we need to connect these grounds and these, these two ground pins. We need to connect those. Actually, let me go back to that bag of connectors. I'll just grab two more, these short little wires for the breadboard. Let's grab one that's not been through a fire. Long story, don't ask. Well, short story, it was when I hooked up that capacitor wrong on the my amp I was trying to build. All right, so pin 1. Ground, and pin 24. Come on. 24 goes to ground. There we go. So you might be asking yourself how we're going to do the outputs. Well, got our little pin here, our little Genesis 2 connector. And got the pin out for the Genesis 2 connector. And so what we'll do is we'll solder a 5-volt, an R, a G, a B, and a sync, and the ground onto this guy. And yeah, I need to figure out which one of these pins go to which one of these in the front. Fortunately, they're not labeled, and it didn't say which one started as one. So we'll use our multimeter to figure out where those are. Yeah. In fact, thinking of these guys, there's some of them in here that have a connector on one end but not on the other. So I might not even need to solder anything if I use some of these here. BRG. And then use a brown for the ground. And a yellow for the sink. I think that's all we need, because we're not doing the sound or anything right now. Oh, I guess we'll use black. Do I have a black one of these? I do. Alright, we'll use black for the ground. We'll use brown for the 5-volt. What I think we'll do is we'll just pop these over the pins that they need to be on. Yeah, those seem to make a good enough contact. Not perfect, but it holds enough. It should be fine, I think, for a couple quick tests. And then we'll connect these onto the board using some singles. Yeah, like this. So we can just put this into the breadboard for the RGB outputs. Then we can connect those pins on top of this. Let's see. Looking at my outputs here, I got RGB, comp out, Y out, chrome out, but not using either of those. So we just need RGB. Yeah, so we just need 4. So let me just cut one off of this. That'll give me 4 in a row. And then for the ground and the power, we can just use some singles. Just let me cut this off here. Make this a 4. And don't worry, I've got a ton of these things, so cutting them isn't really that big of a deal. Let's see, our RGB out starts with 22. So I'm gonna move these up a little. Yes, so they're halfway. And I'll just put these here. Nice. Now we can just plug into those with our cables. Our, let's see, what is it? R G E then our comp out. We'll just connect these to the appropriate guy on here. And of course we need a ground. So we'll just do the same thing for ground. Here. And our 5-volt. All right, there's all our outputs ready to get wired up. We just got to figure out where to put them on here. Uh-oh. This is the wrong schematic. This is a different 8-pin DIN. Because this isn't an 8-pin DIN. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. This is a 9-pin DIN. Oops. We can't use this at all, chat. Well, 1 minute. All right, so this actually one looks pretty good because it has the underside as well. Let's see. There's our front view. Yep, that matches. There's our underside view. That also matches. All right, cool. So we have pretty much straight instructions. We don't need to do the multimeter jab and listen. So that's going to be nice. Also, it looks like this has sync and composite as separate things. So we might actually steal that C-Sync from here and send it directly into here. And we might disconnect the composite line. let's try that. That single one go that I cut off from the rest. Did I put it back in the box? Or is it still hanging out? Oh, I think it's in the box. Yep, there it is. By the way, I apologize if I feel a little flat today. My brain is still a little fried from the 24-hour stream, so I really apologize if I'm not killing it today. I should be fine by Tuesday, once I've had a couple days recovery. Alright, let's put this on 10. Right there. We'll connect this there instead. Alright, let's connect our connections. Wait, actually there's one thing we need to do. So the case here actually has to be grounded as well. I need a little wire. So take a piece of this black wire. Pretty long piece, just so we don't have to be fiddling around too badly with it. You know what, I say that little piece there, I have an idea. Maybe save this for a later project. This fit over one of these? Haha, it will. It's kind of jank, but that works. Alright, I can put this in onto our ground here. Just need to make myself another little single. Went flying off. Yeah, it's not the greatest connection ever. Oh. Oh, it's not working. That doesn't want to hold on to that? Oh. Are these white ones just not as grippy? There we go. I got it to hold on. Okay. So let's just wire this mess up. Let's see. So 5 is our C-Sync. This one. And this is our round that we were playing with earlier. And of course our RGB. Start with R. Goes to here. G. B. B is that one right there. The 5-volt is that one right there. And if this doesn't work, we can always come back and do some soldering and solder wires to these connectors. I was trying to avoid it if I could. Oh, that ground really doesn't like being there. Audio right, left, mono audio, C. Oh, there is no ground. All right, we'll just slap this guy on here. We'll just have 2 grounds. Come on. Yeah, we'll just ground it twice. Double ground it. All right, hopefully all... Except for the grounds, everything seems to be staying in place. All right. All right, this weird little clump of cables. Put that right there. Now, we plug a cartridge in. I'm going to take this over to... I have the retro tank ready to go. I just got to hook this up, hook this cable up. Cable here. Plug it into here. Hook this into the retro tank. Make sure the retro tank is set up. I got to switch the HDMI cable from this camera to the retro tank. So give me like 2 minutes and we're going to see if this works. I'm excited, chat. I hope you are too. Be back in like 2, maybe 3 minutes while I get this wired up. Hello, chat. We're back. All right. I've got RetroTink set up. I've got our sound set up. I just need to plug this cable into cable for the system. I'm gonna make sure I line this up correctly because there's a lot. Go. This ground cables just continues to not want to function. All right, here's the moment of truth, chat. I want to turn it on. Now, we don't have the sound wired up. If you're watching, I didn't wire that up, but I've got Sonic the Hedgehog plugged in. Let's see if we release any magic smoke. No magic smoke. But no picture either. Darn it. I wonder if our connector's not connected very well. Here, I'm going to turn it on one more time since we're not getting magic smoke. I'm going to play with the connector on the RetroTink. I'm adjusting the cable a little bit. It looks like the SCART connector got pushed into the housing a little bit. The SCART cable's really, really bad. Alright, that seemed like it seated better. Nope, still nothing. Well, again, no magic smoke, so that's good. What to do? You know, I could see if we're getting any signal out the RGB using my not multimeter. No, these pins might not be reaching. They're on there, but they may not be making a good enough connection to actually have the signal. Yeah, they are on there pretty loose. What do we do? let's test if there's any output from the Sega Genesis from the already installed chip. Let me grab my other RGB SCART cable from downstairs, the Model 1 SCART cable. I'll be right back. Hold on just a moment, chat. All right, I'm back, chat. We just plug this one in. Which way does this go? Oh, that's up. Oh, something. Nothing good though. Yeah. Sanshiro Naomi. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Yeah, looks like we just got noise. Yeah, I think I borked something somewhere. Well, I'm going to call it for tonight. I think we're going to end the stream a little early. I'm really going to have to really put my head together. Not put my head together? That's not the right expression. I'm really going to have to really think through this problem and double check my work and make sure I didn't miss anything. Maybe review the VOD. But thanks everyone for coming. I really hope you enjoyed watching me play around with this RGB encoder and this breadboard, and hopefully you learned some things, despite us maybe bricking, at least temporarily bricking this console. I think some of those pins might still be bridged. I'm gonna have to go through and look at that, where I accidentally bridged some pins around that, the pin 131. I think that might be the problem. But I'll go through and I'll double check everything. If I have to, I'll wire up. I'll just solder the connections to that 9-pin DIN connector and try again. If I get any results, I'll definitely bring it to stream and show you guys what I did. But I think we're gonna call it for now and give it a rest for tonight. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. And I'm just going to go ahead and rate us out. Hold on, wait. There we go. Ow. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming. I hope you all had, like I said, had a great time. I'll quickly roll those end credits so we can bask in these glorious credits together. All right. And again, Sanshiro Naomi, thank you for becoming our latest follower. What are we up to now, follower count-wise? I didn't even look. I haven't had a chance to set up a new... Oh, we're 225. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, I'm really gonna rate us out now. Let's go to Psycho Shoe. Yeah. Say hi to Psycho Shoe for me. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Ta-ta, good night. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you Tuesday. Oh, next week. We might be switching to Wednesday nights. Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturdays. I have something I might want to start doing on Saturdays, but gotta go. We'll talk about it next week. Bye.